Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, guys? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's Icy Cobalt here. We're currently live right now, guys. So I saw that Johnny Somali, he apparently took the time to do a full interview with the 15 Minutes of Shame. I really like that guy's channel. I've been keeping up with that guy, 15 Minutes of Shame, for the whole Johnny Somali thing. And I gotta say, I liked his content the most. Out of Atozy, Legal Mindset, and everybody, I definitely like 15 Minutes of Shame the most. So I'd like to give a big shout out to him because I think his content's pretty cool to watch. So I don't know how they did it, man. They ended up getting Johnny on a full interview. So we're about to watch it right here.
I feel like it's a low IQ trait. I've never seen anything on social media that's driven me to violence. I've never saw anything. I've never scrolled on Twitter or Reddit or YouTube or anything and said, oh my God, what this person has done that has no effect on my life day to day. I want to kill him. I want to put him. I've never had that. That's a barbarian Neanderthal thinking to me.
And it's not like you're not self-deprecating. You've talked shit about black people, about Somalis. So it's not like you're going there with this like air of superiority. Like you make fun of things. You're a comedian. You're like a satirical kind of comedian like Borat. So it's just wild to see. You're knocked out cold 3 times in a week. Like, you know, and it's championed. It's championed online by these so-called conservatives. And even
And it's
worse,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let me say this. But if the one time I snap and I end up stabbing one of these motherfuckers, then who's the bad guy?
Whoa.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's pretty big.
It's ridiculous.
We got
Saying he's
Nick
gonna
in here.
stab someone, that's not allowed.
My co-host spot. If Somali will allow Swimmer Nick to become co-host, he might have more insight as well.
Swimmer Nick knows a lot. I've known Swimmer Nick for a long time. He knows a lot about this streaming game and a lot about the kick streamers and my former colleagues that have done the same, if not worse than me, but get almost 0 to no backlash. It's ridiculous.
okay, where is Swimmer Nick? What's his username? Oh, there he is.
He's got a green, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
But I saw Vice Poseidon say that he knew people in the Korean police.
Fuck, I just saw a little
and he wanted to
motherfucking
put you in jail, Johnny Somalia.
Little
Do you know about
bastard.
this?
I did see people sent me those clips.
monitor.
That shit is ridiculous. He's just talking out of his ass, dude. He has no connection to nobody or anything.
It
But
seems like
I find it interesting. I find it
as
interesting that mindset and Lolly mindset never want to talk about Ice Poseidon or any of the CX crew, because if you guys know who Xena the Witch is, Sneeko's ex like girlfriend, her name's on Twitter, Xena the Witcher or whatever. That's Sneeko's, right? Basically, her and Lolly mindset, Pat mindset met on Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit's podcast.
All right, guys, we just
And they follow each other. They have a connection. So she's been in DMs with him.
So I just air fried some of these the mini waffles. We're gonna see how it is. Mmm. Holy shit, way better than the microwave. Wow. That's definitely how these are meant to be eaten. Look at these, man. Mmm. Oh my god. Bro. Make your egg and waffles in the fucking air fryer.
Him saying, yo, I'll help you, Johnny, and give you shit on Johnny if you just leave our crew alone and don't cover us. But also, he knows that if he covers them, he doesn't get any views. He doesn't get any money or donations.
So apparently he's saying that the girl Xena tells Legal Mindset that she'll give him like intel on Johnny as long as he doesn't cover shit about them. I don't fucking know. It sounds like bullshit. Well,
okay, so everyone, we're gonna recycle. We got people in here. Also, retweet the space, share it in some group chats. We're gonna go through the speakers because if you've got nothing to say, you can drop down and make room for another one. Chad, go ahead.
Yeah, Johnny, I just wanted to say, so I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, I guess. Are you actually out of South Korea now? Are you back stateside or where's your
No,
location?
This guy's playing fucking dumb. It's like, have you been fucking watching what's going on? Like, do you live like under a rock or something?
I haven't been
I'm
keeping up
still,
with it.
I'm still stuck in this shithole. I'm still here.
Damn, have you gotten I know that your passport was taken. Have you gotten that back or anything? Or
No,
what's
I still have my passport. They actually never took my passport. I don't know how that rumor spread.
Okay.
And I don't know how these rumors, like, there's so many rumors. That's why I'm like, I might as well, instead of shutting up and being quiet about it, I might as well just talk and monetize and just
Mm-hmm.
make the most out of this bullshit while I'm stuck here. Because this is actually ridiculous and it's a huge story. And if
Yeah.
anybody needs to be eating off it, it needs to be myself. No, I don't know how they spread that my passports were taken. They spread that my gear was taken. They spread that I cannot like the court or the police told me not to live stream. Like, they cannot tell you that. Like I know in
Yeah, they
America, like a
can.
judge can tell you can't do video or whatever. I haven't been charged. Like,
What do you mean? What the fuck? So the judge tells him that he can't live stream. He says, "Oh, you can't do that." Yeah, you can. This is why you keep on getting in trouble, dummy.
or like convicted of anything
Idiot.
really yet. So I
Right.
haven't had any punishment. They can't tell me to not stream. I have a freedom of speech.
Hell yeah. Well, it's good, man. I'm just glad to hear that you're at least alive and everything. I was kind of worried about you there for a second. So
Good to talk to you, Chadical.
Once you get out of this, man, like you're gonna be one of the top streamers in the world for like just like when you think of streaming in real life, like Ice Poseidon's been around a long time, but it's kind of a niche, people that know him. But because you've gone viral just so many times, national news, global news, your name has more weight than pretty much all of them. So you get out of this, you're a top 10 name brand for streaming. And if you can just like keep it to America, go to college campuses, go to political events, have more of a plan of action. Okay, so we're going to a Trump rally today, we're going to whatever, a Tesla boycott tomorrow. That is the way to do it. And you'll like blow up immediately. You'll get like a huge deal from Kick or from party.com, whatever it is, because you're just going to be too big for them to ignore. And that's what happens is like, you're only bannable as long as you're irrelevant in a sense. Sneako's been unbanned on YouTube. They get unbanned all the time. So I don't think the ban's going to really last. And even if it does, you have Rumble, you have party.com, you have X. There's other platforms where, I mean, if it comes down to it, you could stream on Discord because you do have like a core fan base that will facilitate with donations, your career. So I think that there's only good things that are going to come out of this. But firstly, you just need to get out of Korea.
I need to get out of this whole country. I'm tired of this place. Like, it's not a bad country, don't get me wrong. And there's worse places to be locked in. But when you've been here for this long, I've never been to a more boring country in my life. It's ridiculously boring.
Synagogues.
I remember
Get in the synagogues, get in the tunnels. That's what we need, Johnny Samar.
when you were first there, like for the first week, you were saying that. So I mean, shout out to Hank though. Like he's kept you housed for this entire time, right? Like
I gotta say, even though that Hank guy is a piece of shit, I do respect him for taking the time and the finances and will to be able to fucking house this dude after all the shit that he's done. Like, wow, what a fucking guy.
he's taking you to court.
Hank is a great friend.
To still stand by this guy's side, dude. Like, I'm glad, like, at least Johnny can still have a loyal friend. But unfortunately, they're feeding off of each other's, degeneracy, so that's not going out too well for them.
Hank is a loyal ally, and we will be victorious at the end of this. There's a lot of grifters that want to see my downfall and make all this money talking shit about, the downfall. Apparently, I've been having a downfall for 2 years. Like, when is it gonna happen? Every single country I go to, I swear, there's been so many videos. He's going to jail for 30 years. He's going to jail for 99 years, 100 years, 20 years. Bro, are you ridiculous? Like, I don't understand how people like, it's goy slop. It's literally what these people are watching. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the most sensible country it seems that you've been, and the way that they handled it, probably how you wish most countries would handle it, would be Israel. And we do have a Jew here from Israel, Dara. So you went to the
I
Wailing
said,
Wall, you made a joke, but instead of like trying to get you with some trumped up misdemeanor
yeah.
or trying to, railroad you, they just deported you, right?
Yeah, they honestly, listen, they literally bought me the plane ticket. And it wasn't even for the Wailing Wall. They got mad because I went to the protest, the Netanyahu protest, and I was literally basically leading the whole protest. So they got really mad about that. Honestly, the wall they didn't even really care about. So I gotta respect the Jewish people for that. You know what I mean? They honestly didn't really mind. I told them straight up. I went to the detective and I said, "Yeah, I'm a little bit mentally." And
Oh
then
my
they
god, what a
literally
fucking
went on
dumbass.
YouTube. They Google searched Johnny Somali, and they said, "Oh, this guy's just like an internet troll." Okay, it's not that serious. Like a logical Western thinking brain. Oh,
Nah,
this is
but
Johnny
just some
Somali,
internet.
yeah, but the thing is, if you commit crimes in someone else's country and they want to prosecute you, like, and man, it's all free reign for them at that point, man.
It's not that deep, you know. But when I
It
went,
is.
they literally bought me a plane ticket and were like, "Yeah, you're going to New York tonight."
He's saying it's not that it is that deep when you commit crimes and you really like shit on the country. So yeah, kind of is that deep, Johnny. Unfortunately, brother.
And I was like, "All right, that's fine,
Johnny really fucked up,
no
man.
problem."
Yeah, it seems
No, like no court, no trumped up this, no like we need to save face and make him look like a criminal and all this. Like, it's ridiculous, bro.
when you had that first court hearing and I heard legal mindset like elaborate on what you were actually charged with, I was like, holy shit. They've held him
Bro,
there for 4 months on a travel ban because he spilt noodles in a 7-Eleven, which he cleaned up and carried around a fish. Like
yes,
that's
they
crazy.
literally told the judge. They literally told the judge he carried a stinky fish. And I'm like, you eat stinky kimchi every day. What the are you talking about? You eat frogs and cockroaches. Like, what do you mean he's carrying a stinky fish? I don't even understand that shit. And then this is the first case ever in South Korean history.
These people are not used to seeing a guy walking around with this stinky fish. This is not normal human behavior. This is not something they encounter every day in Korea. Might be, guys. Hey, yo, what is going on, chat?
That the word twerking has been used ever in the history of this country. This country's only 7 years old because we built the place, but they told the judge he was doing a dance called twerking on the train. Whoa.
Oh my
my God.
god.
Lock me up and throw away the key.
Let's go to Mansa. Mansa, go ahead. Do you have anything to say?
Oh yeah. Oh damn, you still alive, bro. Yeah, man. Seems like you. Hopefully, you make it back home, bro. Yeah, I feel like I've been saying this, man. I mean, I don't know why it's such a big deal at this point. They could have been just got you out of there, but I feel like they need something to do. It's like they want to be recognized, right? It's like, hey, look, guys, we want to be serious. We want the world to know you're not going to come to our country and fuck. But at the end of the day, right? Nobody gives I'm just being honest, right? I mean, they're trying to use you as an example. Oh my God, people want to be so scared. Like, come on, bro. Just give the man his ticket and send him back home,
Yeah, these
man.
guys are still glazing him.
I don't think people here don't honestly give a like that. Like, I don't know if they noticed that, right? I don't know what message they're trying to send, but people.
Bro,
here
I'm
honestly
telling you,
don't
people that are
care.
not on the internet don't talk about this shit.
They literally
They really don't.
give a care at all. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, Johnny ain't the worst, right? I mean, people probably seen worse of the worst shit. So, I mean,
Okay. Let's go, Mr. Opinions. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't want to be the guy coming here and being anti Johnny Somali, but I do think
Oh,
that
no, speak your mind.
no, I just think that, you know, they do want to make an example out of people who come to the country and disrespect their country, and they do want to make it known that you're not going to come to these countries and act a certain way and disrespect their culture. They take their culture. They have a lot of pride in their culture in some of these countries that you've disrespected. So I don't think it's a crazy viewpoint for them to want to make an example out of that and make it be known that
Yeah,
that
that's
shit's
true.
not going to fly.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
And I gotta be honest,
Oh
that
my
you getting
fucking
your ass
God.
beat by that South Korean is one of my favorite videos of all time, dude.
Well, they're getting entertainment from it. You know what I mean?
no, you're
It's
right, but
entertainment. It's content. That's
it
what I'm
was
saying. It's
funny,
content.
and you have to admit, you kind of deserved it, right? You would agree with that?
I would not say I deserved any physical altercation because if I was look, if I was walking around sucker punching South Koreans, yes, come and sucker punch me. Yes,
But
you get what I'm saying? I don't walk around touching nobody.
But you disrespect their culture and disrespect their country. That might lead to
People
violence.
disrespect America every day.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
sometimes it
Do
leads
we
to
walk around and
violence.
punch them? Do we walk around and punch them?
Mr. Payne,
But doesn't that
no,
sometimes
you're
lead to
full of
violence?
shit.
And
No.
people
But the thing is that it's different over here in these countries. You're playing by their rules. You're playing by their land. You can't say, oh well, they're doing this or that. Playing by their rules, brother. It's their land.
reacting physically.
No.
You can't just
No,
be
bro.
like,
People
that's
talk
what-
shit about America every day. We don't walk up and sucker
exactly.
punch them.
But at
hear
the
that from
end of the
foreigners
day,
here all
you
the
don't get to
time.
tell another person how to react to how you
No,
disrespect
you're
them.
just full of shit right now. People
See,
do that shit
I'm
here all
not.
the time.
You're trying to justify
Like,
violence.
But do you
Exactly.
But do you
Yes,
under?
I am.
But do
Hey,
you
Dr.
understand?
Kavinsky, sometimes violence is justified. It is.
For
No,
Point blank period.
and you're full of shit
for
because
dancing
when
on a
people,
statue, you go and concuss someone and give them possibly life changing.
Sure, why not? If they want to disrespect my country and heritage, if I punch them in the face,
but
whatever.
you don't do none of that shit
I-
here. Get the out of here. Who-
That's
But
the fun-
but
that-
guess
so
what?
here's-
Guess
but no,
what?
yeah,
There's
but
listen.
Johnny,
Let me
but
say one
that's
thing. Let
what-
me say one
I
thing.
want let me make my point. You can rebut.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think it's funny that you want to draw a line that you can disrespect them, basically be as disrespectful as possible. But the second they
Whoever
punch you, you're
punched
like,
in the
that's
face.
not allowed. No physical violence, but I can basically do
No,
whatever
I'm
I
just
want.
saying. No. I'm not saying I
Come
can
on,
do
dude.
whatever
There
I
is
want.
a line
I'm
where
just
people might
saying.
punch you, bro.
But who have you ever punched in the face, Mr. Pena?
I've done.
That's a good point. I mean, you gotta recognize that these are fighting words. So if you're saying wild shit and people get mad, there's a chance they could hit you. I mean, this is just basic common sense. That's what I think at the least.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 5 years. I'm pretty trained in self-defense. I grew up fighting with 3 older brothers. I've been in fights.
And who has?
Oh, you want to
Oh
wrestle?
my
about America?
god.
We can wrestle. I'll strangle you, though. I'm not going to wrestle.
Do you
I'll
think
choke you out.
that? Hang on.
Let-
Do you
let
think
me-
that it would have been accepted to punch?
But you know what I'm
Borat?
saying, Doctor?
Hang on. Do you think it would have been acceptable to punch Borat in the face when he was filming that documentary Mocking America?
Borat has been, but the difference between
Ooh, that's true. He's got a good point. All Borat had was just a production company and a crew behind him. Johnny said didn't have that, so it's kind of the same deal.
Borat and
What's the
him-
difference? Tell us.
I'm
What's the
gonna tell
difference?
you, Borat is an actual character who people. His character is supposed to be like this innocent guy who really doesn't know about the world. He shits in like a trash can. Doesn't. That's a character. What Johnny Somali doing is just basically that's just you being.
You don't think it
respectful, just
offended
being
Kazakh
respectful.
people?
Is that
And
even
I-
your
I-
real name?
And then I'm just saying, I don't like that you want to draw a line that you can basically do whatever you want, be as disrespectful as you want, but this
How do you get into this fucking Discord? Like, what the? How did this happen? I wanted to get in on this. This seems pretty fun. I'd like to ask him some questions. Maybe I should join Johnny's Discord.
second someone punches you, you're like, oh, that's too far. You can't punch me. Like, what the f- is that?
No.
Because it's cool maybe if,
Listen,
Muslims blow people up when they draw Muhammad too.
Listen, I want to say this. I can do whatever I want, and I will continue to do whatever I want. And anybody that does touch me, and let me say this right here, will face legal, criminal, and civil consequences, just like the mother
Ooh.
that punched me. Do you know he is criminally charged, going to court for aggravated assault?
I thought
And
he got
I
out
have-
the same day though. He's not going to
It
jail.
doesn't
right?
matter. I'm not, bro. Korea doesn't do pretrial detention. They don't do that.
I don't
It
think
doesn't
they're really
matter. He's
gonna
getting
care
civilly
about what the guy
sued.
did.
I hired a lawyer, and he's getting civilly sued. Whatever money he made from his donation or whatever, I'm taking that. So if everybody wants to punch
let's
me,
go.
and I can take 10, 20, 30 grand, 40 grand from each of them,
Man, it's a
I'll do it.
apology. That's
It's
what it is.
he's putting money in my pocket.
He's got a point. He's really got a point.
Yeah,
He's
well,
getting
I don't think
sued.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think
I'm
each
not
person
trying to
that
be
punches you is gonna get
anti-Johnny,
arrested.
Honestly, that sounds a lot better than hey man, if you want to get punched in the face and then if you're able to pull 10 to 30K off a lawsuit every time it happens because you're being an asshole. I mean, that sounds a lot cooler than listening to a boss and doing something that you fucking hate and then having to wake up and like take a shower and drive your fucking car to this shitty job and work for a bunch of assholes that have no interest in you as in your finances and about where you're at in life financially, and they just see you as a fucking number. Yeah, this seems a lot more enjoyable. So I see why he's doing what he's doing.
I'm gonna be.
What you're doing is you're basically justifying third world vigilantism. Like South Korea is meant to be a first world country. According to OECD guidelines, it became first world in I think 2006. But what we saw with the response to Johnny Somali making jokes was vigilante hate mobs out there purposely trying to assault him in mobs. They had a Discord room with 10,000 members trying.
This is, yeah, that's like super illegal. Those people need to be held responsible. But also at the same time, like I was saying, like you can't just do this stuff and then expect people to not want to hurt you. It's usually how the world doesn't work. I'm unsure of places where it works in the other favor. But yeah, in most places, this is not how it is.
Trying to geolocate him. Like this is savage behavior, right? So no, like offense doesn't justify assault on someone, right? If
It
you're
doesn't.
offended, you can use your words and offend them back. But taking it the extra step and sucker punching someone in the street because you were hurt. I mean, look, offense is subjective at the
Yeah,
end of
you
the
gotta
day. If we justify
if you do stuff like that, like no matter like what they say, or they could be like the most racist and worst thing, it's still a crime. And if you don't want to recognize that assaulting someone because they said something super crazy is a crime, then I don't know, you're probably going to be in jail sometime soon, or an institution maybe.
justify violence for offense, everyone's going to be getting knocked out left, right, and center because of the subjective nature of offense. You can say something that you think is completely reasonable. Someone else will take offense to that and punch you in the face. Oh, well, who am I to say how he can react to me being offended? Like, this is a argument.
No,
Because
it's not.
it's
Because you're Dr. Vinci.
justifiable
Let me
to
make a
murder
counterpoint.
someone
Because you're
for
acting
drawing
like he's
Muhammad.
making like some
Dude, this virgin is fucking crashing out. I hate this guy's voice.
political statement or some sort of just opinion. He's
You're
just
not about
going.
that
No,
life.
let me make my
He's a
point before
comedian.
someone else talks. Holy shit!
He's never stuck his wee-wee anywhere, for sure.
And then
Comedian
you can
said that.
rebuttal.
Yo, who
The
have you
point
ever
is that
punched in the
Dr.
face
Vince.
that
Oh my!
offended you?
Can I counter what he just said, or
No,
you're just
you're
gonna
a
interrupt
bitch.
me? You're acting like he's going there and like just making a political statement or just being like, saying he had an opinion. He's just going there to disrespect people.
It's libertarian.
Let me talk, you dumb. You have attention
You
span of a 7-year-old.
This guy's
Holy shit,
crashing
mute this guy.
out.
And then you can talk when I'm done.
This is the
okay?
real crime.
This guy's
But
such a little
the point is this,
bitch.
Dr. Davinsky, which you don't have to agree with it. He's not going there and just voicing an opinion. He's going there to intentionally disrespect a country, culture, troll them, embarrass them, mock them, and that
did have
has
a political
consequences. And it
opinion.
might be you getting punched in the face. So yeah, you
That's
guys
true.
argue like the intellectual skill.
Yeah, you do. You have to recognize. So there's two sides. You have to recognize that this should all be accounted as one. So if you do this stuff, you're gonna make people really mad, and they're probably gonna want to hurt you. But at the same time, does not give them the right to hurt you. They should also be held accountable. But you also need to recognize too, there's going to be a large group of people who are going to say that they don't feel bad and they're happy that it happened to you. This just again how the cookie crumbles here, man.
Skills of
Who have you ever beat up, bro? That have ever
I've
offended
already
you?
told you. I've trained. If you want to come to Henzo Gracie Academy in
have you ever
Connecticut, let
beat
me
up?
know when you're
Again,
around. I'll render you
Henzo
unconscious if
Gracie.
you'd like to
Yes,
come.
I'm unsure. He said Henzo Gracie. Ooh, that's like BJJ.
Yeah, you sound like a bitch.
Yeah, well, you're a dumbass.
Okay. Our opinion, we'll come back to you. We do.
That's so unproductive. Just name calling. Okay, that's not content.
You
But
have
you know what I'm saying, Doctor? You're making a different argument. That's
well,
not what
the
I'm
way
saying.
that I
Yeah,
view
this guy has a
Johnny
really nerdy
is as an
voice.
entertainer
It sounds like a dude, like I want to give him a wedgie and like throw him into a locker, just the way he talks.
as a comedian, and I don't separate him much from Borat.
And like I'm the one who usually got fucked with like growing up and like, damn, if I want to do that here and there, oh shit, it's bad.
Borat came to America, made Americans look like complete idiots. He basically shat on the Arab world, the Muslim world. And you don't think that his intrinsic bias as being a Jew maybe influenced that? Maybe that he has some negative biases about Arabs, where he made the movie The Dictator, or, these come into play. So, offense, politics, comedy, they kind of interlap, right? They're interlapped. So you can't just say, well, this is offensive, what Johnny's doing is offensive, but what this other comedian's doing or what this other streamer's doing isn't. And I just think of it as a very dangerous path to go down and justify violence based on offense. I think that, we should live in a world where an 80-year-old grandma is as comfortable to speak her mind, to make a joke, as a 30-year-old bodybuilder that does a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like, that's the world that I think is more civilized than just having that grandma live in fear because she could be assaulted and killed at any time. Like, I just don't think that that's a very good world to live in. I do want to go to Yin Diesel. So, Somali, Yin Diesel is making a documentary about you. So go ahead, Yin Diesel.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly ask, what was like the racial discrimination? Like, how did that feel? Like, did you experience that over there?
Oh, of
Especially
course
with
he
your
did.
charge, you think that's
I
like,
bet he did.
it's like racially motivated and stuff.
Dude, they're super nationalistic over there. And it's just basic knowledge that, that just over there in Asia, that most of them don't like black people. This is just commonly known, so, man, like, if you go there and they're American, like, there's a lot of places, like, where you'll go if you're American, they'll be like, oh, nah, like, we only accept, like, people that only speak Japanese, or you have to speak Chinese, or only, like, Taiwanese people are allowed, or only Thai people are allowed. Like, this is how it is in a lot of those countries, unfortunately. And we're going back to the thing of this is their land. You got to play by their rules. And if you don't like it, then you could just leave or not visit. It's very simple.
I agree to a point, brother. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't like to play the race card, and it triggers a lot of people to play the race card. But trust me, bro. If I was like a little white boy that came here and danced on it, they would have been like, it's okay, But when it comes, I feel like the Asians, they have some kind of inferiority complex. I don't know what it is, bro.
They don't like
They
black
really
people.
can't handle disrespect when it comes from a black person or someone of color. They just can't handle it. I don't know how. I've experienced it.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just the cultures there's just such drastic differences between Black American culture and like general Asian cultures. Like, man, like, yeah, there's a lot of differences, so I can see why there are some disagreements in the masses.
It twice, and I really think that's part of it.
I mean, I know for a fact they wouldn't be hitting you if you're a white
without
guy.
a fact. Oh, 100%.
I mean, look at the parallel between Johnny and Joshua Block. All right, this guy went around Tokyo kicking people, punching them, banging on windows, destroying property. It was talked about for half a day on social media, and that was
That's
it. It's
true.
like, oh well, he's just autistic. He can't, that was basically.
Yeah, the Josh Block shit got brushed off like super fucking quick. That is mad true. I did not think about that at all.
The excuse. Meanwhile, Johnny Somali has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Where is the leeway there? Why have all of these?
No, the difference is Josh Block. We see an autistic man that people are like feeding him alcohol. They just act more retarded for content. And Johnny Somali seems like someone who totally knows full right what he's doing. And a lot of people seem very upset, so I can see, and he's done multiple things in multiple countries, man. So it's kind of hard to compare the two.
alt-right racist accounts like Atozy and Legal Mindsets, like basically Stormfront. You know, these
What?
guys are, you know, allegedly neo,
Alt-right?
and they're just propagating hate speech. If you go to these comments, it's like around blacks never relax.
Neo-Nazis. They're saying that Atozy and Legal Mindset are neo-Nazis. What the fuck? Yeah, that seems pretty hard to believe. I don't really think they have time to be neo-Nazis either.
You know,
The
1350,
fuck?
every comment. So what?
Don't forget Decoy.
Decoy is one of the biggest. You know, he pays.
Oh, Decoy Voice, dude. He is fucking awesome, man. He's the greatest. Shouts out to Decoy Voice, dude. Sub the Decoy Voice for sure.
Homage to the Korean rooftop shooters that, you know, so the story behind that is that during the LA riots leading up to that, there was a 10-year-old black girl that went into a store and allegedly stole a candy bar. In
Ooh.
response, she was shot in the head by a Korean store clerk. Boom,
Ooh.
dead.
Damn, that's really fucking based. That's fucked up. Yeah, you can't shoot someone for stealing, but I mean, it's like some people in this world are, it's very common when they see a threat and that they have a business and you try and sell stuff that they don't care if you're a kid, an old person, a man or a woman. You know, they have a certain way of handling things. So, yeah. Well, maybe you should teach your kids to not fucking steal, so maybe start there.
She didn't spend any jail time. And so obviously that led to some racial tensions because this kind of thing was happening in Koreatown and in the Korean-run businesses in black areas for a long time. And so, you know, there was that was during the time of Rodney.
Oh, shit, this was in... Oh, no, this was here at the time of Rodney King with the LA shit. Oh, damn.
King also, there was a lot of racial tensions. And
Yeah,
so
that was
as the
bad.
black protesters emerged on Koreatown, the Koreans got on the roofs of their shops and opened fire. And, you know, Decoy, these kind of Koreans, Asians with attitude, Asian Dawn, they celebrate these people. And I think it's very sickening. Go ahead, James.
I just want to say by Mr. Opinions 2.0's logic, it's justifiable to murder somebody for drawing Muhammad. Same exact logical framework.
No, because
Whoa,
again,
that's pretty
Exactly. What's the
crazy.
difference? Yeah, that's
no,
a
I will
great
tell you the
comparison.
difference.
Great
I'll tell
comparison.
you
Yes.
the difference.
They're
Okay,
doing it 'cause
again,
they're
let me.
offended.
I can answer. There's a difference between parody and
I gotta say, it's very interesting to hear Johnny, like, just talking, like, as himself. Very interesting.
humor and intentionally. You just, John. Let's have it. You go to these countries and just intentionally.
It's like in this situation, like, he has, like, nothing to prove, really. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he's just here for an interview. And he's just, like, talking as himself. Like, it's very organic. So this is quite fascinating to see.
Disrespect them and intentionally mock their culture and their
called comedy.
And, but
It's
let me
called comedy.
and you just think that people are what? They're just supposed to just look at you and
Laugh.
laugh?
Laugh, yes. Don't take
No,
Okay,
yourself
how
so
about
here's the
seriously.
thing.
how about
You
you
don't
how
get to
about you
tell
turn the
another
TV
person
off? How
how
about
they
you turn the
react.
TV off if you don't like what you're seeing?
I
It's that
don't
easy.
Hey, you don't.
Close
It
Yeah,
the
like
doesn't bother
Kendrick
me
YouTube,
what
close
you
Lamar.
the
do, but
Twitter.
again, I can understand why another person would maybe not like that and then want to punch you in the face.
Well,
And to
that's
be
why there's
honest,
people in
Johnny,
No, but
prison.
True.
listen, if you don't like
Johnny,
that, why, you
you're
can
lucky they
you
don't.
can
You're
come
lucky
tell
you
me.
haven't been like stabbed, bro. It could have been a lot worse. So I think getting punched in
Do
the
you
face.
think the same
So,
applies to white
so
people who
somebody
say the
said
N word?
die.
You think that
And maybe
applies to the
somebody will
same?
blow them up.
Come on, guys. Johnny, when you want to speak, you can just mute the mic and say your piece so you're not interrupted. So you can address that, and then let's take it more orderly. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say this. Like, what? So somebody's that you're lucky you didn't get stabbed for dancing on a statue? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And you're saying it's not a political take. It is a political take. There's a lot of people that don't agree with that statue. The country of
Damn.
Japan, 110 million people on the island, literally an hour flight away. They think that whole shit is bullshit. The American Army put out historical reports that this they were private followers following around the U.S. soldiers during the Korean War and selling them willingly to Japanese soldiers. So it is a political take, and I'm allowed to have any political take I
Ooh.
want.
Yep, well said.
He's got a point
Right.
there.
So to the guy named
Does have a point.
Mr. Opinion, does the same apply to the N word that Boss Man just said?
Well, let
So
me ask you, if I go up to a
What?
black person and call them the N word and they punch me in the face, do you think that's justified with a hard R?
duh.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It is
of course,
justified.
that
Same
that
for Johnny
absolutely is.
Somali. Just because you don't just like get a pass for just saying the most ignorant and being as disrespectful as possible, and then being
So
like,
it's
oh,
okay
I can
that
go up to a
Charlie
black
That's a good
Hebdo
person.
point.
Oh,
illustrators
I
are
can go
murdered,
up to a
right?
black.
That's a good point. Like this is like just basic common knowledge. This is a really good comparison this guy's making.
Person, call him the N
Strong
word,
Muhammad, it's
and
okay
be
they got murdered?
racist. And then if he punches me in the face, I'm like, why did he punch me in the face? I just said a word.
Okay,
Why
you
did he
should be
punch
murdered
me?
if you draw
That's the
Muhammad. This is
fucking
what you're
dumbest
saying.
argument I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, that's a good one. Answer James's question. Opinion.
What is it?
Should you be murdered if you draw Muhammad, like Charlie Hebdo's illustrators
No,
were?
you should
That,
not be
that was
murdered.
also
No, you
comedic, by
guys,
the way.
you guys like to operate in a lot of whataboutism. Now, Dr. Da
It's not a
Vinci,
Okay, no,
you.
whataboutism. It's a
hold on, hold on.
parallel.
It's not what about ism. No. It's not what about ism. A statue is an inanimate object, and arguably
Did
a
we not
picture of
just
Muhammad
agree
is
if
an
you went,
inanimate
hold on,
object.
Johnny, I asked you a question. Did we not just agree if you went up to a
The fuck
Mr.
did he
Opinion,
say?
it was my turn speaking, and I asked you a question.
we all just agreed with something that proved that I was right, though. We realized that. We're not even going to acknowledge
Oh my
that.
god,
Justifiable
this
for
guy
a
is like such a
Muslim
Johnny,
turbo
I want to
virgin,
ask
dude.
Johnny.
to
Let's talk,
murder.
Johnny. If a white person goes up to a black person, calls them the N word, and they get punched in the face, do you not think that's justified?
Bro, I call black people the N word all the
Shut
time.
up.
Yeah, it's pretty justified. It doesn't give them legally the right, but you have to expect it. 99% chance, for sure. For sure. Anybody who has common sense would.
And
And
they
let him
love
answer the
me for
question.
it, bro.
Just don't
no,
do
no.
it. It's a no-no.
No, I can tell you, it's not justified
Then you're a
because they don't
fucking
even get
moron,
mad. This
'cause
is
it
like
is
an online
justified.
thing that you're
You
thinking.
cannot just
No one
say
gets
and
mad
do
about this shit
whatever you
IRL,
want.
bro.
Sometimes
It's
you're gonna
not
get
legal in
slapped in
any
the
Western
face.
country. In every Western
Doesn't
country,
matter.
that's
If
illegal.
that person punches you in the face, it's justified for
It's
just walking up
justifiable
and
for us
being
to
I
have
want to
racist.
punch you in
prisons,
the
then, I
face,
guess,
Mr.
because
Opinion. I
like,
think
I do want to go
God
back.
damn.
Hang on, before look, everyone like.
And
Who's
Johnny
this guy
hasn't answered the
screaming?
question. I want to know what his
hang on,
opinion is.
hang
My
on, everyone.
I want
god.
to punch this guy.
Wait up. So everyone, welcome to space. We
Wow.
got an exclusive with Johnny Samar.
Dude, this guy is like crashing out, man. Like super hard. Damn. He's getting really pissed.
Give him a follow. He's the co-host there. This is his only account. He's never been on X before. There were a couple accounts that were impersonating him, saying hate speech.
Hey, we got 3 viewers right now. If you guys are tuning into the stream, make sure you guys follow, subscribe, like, turn the notifications on. Make sure you guys support the stream. Follow the channel for sure.
And all kinds of like heinous stuff. That wasn't Johnny Somali. This is the only account that he's ever had. So follow Johnny Somali, retweet the space, like the space. If you want to be a speaker, I want to see a retweet and I'll invite you up. We're going to get through the hands. Let's go back to James and I want a question
be a speaker.
answered. Is it morally right to kill someone for drawing the Prophet Muhammad, similar to what happened with Charlie Hebdo? Answer that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty crazy to kill someone over drawing something. That's it's pretty crazy. But then again, if you're in another country, you have to play by their rules.
Question directly. Opinions.
I've already answered this question 3 times in a row. For some reason, you haven't been able to process it. No, that's not okay. But it's
Dude, this
also
guy's
not
so
okay to
mad.
intentionally
Oh my
disrespect other
God.
cultures, go up to people and call them the N-word.
you know
That's
that they
also
murdered him
not
because they
okay.
were offended, though, right? It was just because they were offended.
Jesus, this is what I mean. You guys are turning this into a debate that it's something completely different and being taken
Like
out of
that
context with no
cartoon
nuance.
didn't hurt the Muslims.
Yeah, and I
It didn't
just
hurt
said
them
you should,
physically.
and you should not murder someone over it. I
You
agree.
should-
That's true.
Johnny Somali could have been murdered. Do you know the brain has the
He could.
consistency of butter and the skull is
He could
rigid
have.
and the floor is concrete? What do you think happens when a brain as soft as butter hits the concrete at force? You can die from that. So he almost got murdered 3 times in a week. Continuous concussions, 3 separate assaults in the span of a week because they were offended over the statue having been twerked on. That's barbaric third world behavior, and I expected more from the Koreans. Okay, we're going to move on from that. Go ahead, Blend.
So maybe just don't do that, Dr. Davinsky. How about that?
When you get
Just
concussed
don't do it.
In short amount of time, in space from your last concussion, they get worse and worse and more damaging to the
So
brain as
maybe
well.
just don't do that again. Don't disrespect their
Or maybe
country.
grow thicker
Just like you
skin,
don't go up
buddy.
to black people and call them the N-word because that'll get you punched in the face. You just
Wait,
don't do
that's
that.
not
And that'll
offensive though.
get you
They
criminal
like
life.
that
to
though.
anybody's
They
face
like that
based on
shit.
their statue,
No, they
bro.
clearly don't like
Two
that
different
shit.
I've never
arguments.
had a black person get mad at me for calling them names.
You're
Never
If you
dumb,
want
once
to
in
but
my
go
one
on
life.
record,
person
I'm
goes
follow
30.
up to
Mr.
a
Opinion's
black person,
advice.
calls them the N-word with a
Yeah,
hard
the only
R.
people who
You
think
don't
that
think
that's
there's
Dude,
true,
this
gonna be
is
consequences?
this is outrageous, man. These people are getting super heated.
you just show that you have no black friends, bro. You just
You're
showing
a
that you have
fucking
no black
idiot.
friends, bro. That's all it
Ignorant
is.
you are.
Dad,
You
I'll
have
beat
no
your
black
ass if you
friends.
did that to me.
Hey, you go to the hood,
You have
go
no
to the
black
Bronx,
friends.
go to a hood.
Hey, I'm
You
not the
walk up
person
to
with
a,
no black
you
friends.
walk
I'm
up
not
to a
trying to
group of
cover up my
black people.
racism.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think your racism is showing opinions. Chadic,
No, you guys are
no,
dumb. This is
hang on, this is the white privilege coming out. What Chadic was saying is he's actually had encounters, real life encounters with Charleston White, and he's referred to him as my. And Charleston dapped him up for that. So really, what this is showing is that you don't have any black friends. And I think that's, I mean, 13% of the population is black. The fact that you've never had a black friend is kind of disgusting, actually. I mean, I know that you live in Connecticut,
Oh my god, he said kind of disgusting.
very
Oh my
white
god.
place. So step out of your ivory tower and
Oh, Connecticut, that's where the WWE headquarters is. In Hereford, Connecticut. And also you can see the Maury show in Stamford, Connecticut. I'd love to see it.
meet the people on the ground. Maybe you could spend a weekend with Chadical down in Texas. You guys can go to a black club. Like, just kind of stop living in a bubble, a little lily white bubble in suburban Connecticut. How about that? We're going to move to Blend now.
You have to keep muting me because you can't actually debate
No,
me,
shut the
Dr.
fuck
So
up.
you're
Man
a fucking.
speaking. Get on your.
You can't take Dr. Vince.
You are
opinion.
racist.
Wait,
First of all,
okay,
listen,
no,
you are
opinion.
racist, sir.
no
Opinion.
Why did the
counterpoint
black
because
man have to be?
Hang on, opinion. Look, I like you in the space. Let's just relax. I'm going to give you a chance to speak, but this isn't. Look, this is meant to be a Johnny Somali interview. You've been speaking more than him. Let's just go to Blend, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah, FBA Trey, can you weigh in
He's
on
got
the?
a good point.
Let's just
He
do the.
does
Let's
got a
just,
good
let's
point.
be
That
honest
guy's
here.
talking
The elephant in the room
talking
is
more than
race.
Johnny.
This man is clearly racist, Mr. Opinion, because you had to use the black person.
You're
You used
calling
black
me
people.
racist.
You didn't say
you dumb
Jewish.
fuck.
You said black people. Yes, you're extremely racist because you
Yeah,
are.
that's what
it's a-
they're
it's an
called. You
expectation.
Oh
dumb.
my god.
Guy said this
They're gonna be
racist. and what-
violent. You just.
Hang on.
Yeah, this is not a Johnny interview so far. This is just like people they're arguing and debating about Johnny and they're crashing out. That's what's going on here.
Bro,
This is how dumb your space is, Dr. Vince. They're saying
Mr. Opinion, look, come on. You're chimping out right now, right? You meant to. This is
Uh-oh.
bad. We're
That's
going
not
to
good.
do a one mic policy. I'm going to give you a chance to respond to these racist allegations because right now you're a suspected white supremacist. So I will give you a chance to
What?
clear your name. But right now, I don't know, close up the tabs on Stormfront, 4chan, whatever website you're on.
Stormfront.
And then come back in a few minutes. We'll get you a chance to respond and you can explain how you're not racist. Go ahead, Blend.
you're a clown for sure. Like, act.
And you don't like free speech. That's
Uh-oh.
basically what it is.
Uh-oh. Free
No, I
speech
do
debate.
like free speech, but again, that doesn't give you the right to just say anything and
But
expect there's
again,
no consequences for it. Like I said, if you went up,
We're going to Blend opinion. Relax.
Dr. DeVinci, you still haven't acknowleded my.
This is the listen, guys. This is the
You
elephant in
won't
the room.
acknowledge
Listen to
my
his voice.
question because you know
Shut
it
the
makes
fuck
it
up.
proves
stop
you
flipping
wrong.
out, bro.
You won't
Shut the
acknowledge.
Go roll around and do your jujitsu.
Go fuck
and
around. Go. You don't.
Let's go do the jujitsu. You're
You
offending
have
me
the
right now. I want to
intellectual
beat you
skills
up.
of a 9-year-old.
Let
You
me put
resort
my
to
let me put
insults
my
like
hands
a
on your.
child. Don't actually.
Okay. Look, opinion.
Oh my god, now they're making physical threats towards each other. This is crazy, man. Oh shit.
And last chance, man, because you have been speaking the majority of this space. Just let Blend speak.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, I'll let Blend address you, and then you can respond, and then we'll
Let
move
Johnny
on.
speak.
But you. Why would you?
Listen to this guy, dude. You take.
Hey, what's up, guys? If you're tuning in right now, I see we got 3 wonderful viewers here. Welcome, welcome. We're watching 15 Minutes of Shame. Johnny Somali is getting interviewed, but so far it's a bunch of people crashing out, having a debate about the acts of Johnny right now. And they've gone to the extent of threatening physical force on each other. So let's watch the crash outs continue here.
Something, bro. A man speaking. You can hear in your voice. Like, this is the thing. Everyone here It's masculine. We understand what freedom speech is. We understand what violence is. And this guy just doesn't get it. And then he says, you know, it's very offensive for you to say, hey, FBA Trey, back me up. You're the violent black man. That's extremely racist, point one. Point two is the elephant in the room is
Are they gonna
envy,
let Johnny
sir.
speak
You can hear in
though?
his voice a hit dog hollers. The Asians are very
You don't
envious
got
of the
no nuts,
Japanese
Mr.
penis.
Opinion. This is the way you talk. You
They're
talk with a
Okay, well,
envious.
you
lisp.
come to the gym,
You
and
a
I'll show you
faggot.
my nuts. Stop by the gym, and I'll.
Listen to this. Now his racism's going to come out. His one ally on the stage, FBA Trey, the one ally. Watch the racism come out because Trey just said he has no nuts. Watch the N words fly. Go ahead, Opinion. Let it out.
Uh-oh.
No one's racist, y'all. I'm saying if you want to
Listen
see
to
my
his
nuts, you
voice.
can come to the.
Did
You
they-
can come
Listen to your
to
high
Enzo
pitched
Grace.
voice.
Is Johnny gonna talk? Like Johnny hasn't been talking for like 5 fucking minutes, dude. So far as like nonsense.
The
Okay,
academy, and I
good.
will render you unconscious
You will
anytime
not
you
trim
want.
because I'll rip
And
your
I will
eyeballs
proceed
out.
to
You
say-
Okay, we're gonna do a poll. Everyone, thumbs up if you think that Mr. Opinion
Stop.
is a suspected white supremacist. Thumbs
Thumbs up if you think that Dr.
Thumbs up,
Davinsky has a good.
suspected white supremacist. Look, everyone's thinking you're a
Why?
white supremacist just with your rhetoric.
Oh my
Johnny Somali,
god.
what do you have to say against Mr.
What an
Opinions and his kind of
accusation,
white
damn.
splaining about the N word?
I think it's ridiculous. My thing is, I'm a free speech absolutist. So if somebody walked up to me and called me the N word, I'm not gonna hit them. I'm just gonna say something back to them. I have a mouth. I have an IQ over 100. You know what I mean? I don't need to resort to violence. But if you know what I mean, I don't. To answer this question earlier, I don't think anybody should attack anybody over words or opinions.
No, we know he won't
Yeah,
do
well
anything.
said. Okay,
Damn.
Mr. Opinions, we're gonna give you 1 minute because you keep interrupting everyone else. So I'll
Wait, so this guy is his tag actually Mr. Opinions? What the fuck?
let you go first, and then we'll go to Blend.
Well, first thing I want to say is this space is a great example of groupthink and confirmation bias. You all do a great job of reassuring each other's opinions, confirming another person's opinions. It's really a good example of just everyone having groupthink, which makes you all look stupid to begin with.
Bro, you group
Well,
thinking
you
white
interrupted
women
me
on
already.
TV,
Here we
bro.
go.
Like,
Second
what
thing
the
I
fuck?
wanted to-
What
second
the
thing
hell
I
is going
wanted to
on?
say before.
I'm gonna get
The
some
second
shots
thing I
real
wanted to
quick,
say
guys.
is the second thing I wanted to say is, again, we all agree that violence is not a great action and it's not something that we resort to. But at the end of the day, sometimes if your words are harsh enough or disrespectful enough, a person doesn't just have to say, "Oh, I didn't like that." They can slap you across.
It's the rule of law.
Yes,
You
they
can't.
can.
Like,
And you know
oh,
what?
get arrested.
There's a thing called hate.
Yeah,
Hold
but you'll
on.
be
There's a
charged.
thing called hate speech for a reason. Do we know what hate speech is in here? Yes
I
or
think
no?
that's
It's not a
assault,
legal
sir.
term.
Do we know what hate speech
That's
is?
not a legal
Do we know
term.
it?
It
There's
is
a
not a
reason why
legal
you
term.
Yeah, it is. It
reason
is
why
not
we
Hate
a
have
speech is
legal
not a
term.
legal term.
interrupted.
Hate speech is not a legal
Say it
term.
over
Hate speech is not a legal term.
and talk. They communicate.
Hate speech is not a legal term.
That is low
Really,
testosterone. Your
really-
Oh my
testosterone is
god,
low.
he's just repeating himself like an
All right,
NPC.
Blend, since you're co-host, you can say your piece.
That was
And then I
riveting.
want to
This
go
guy
to
just called me
6X because I think he has.
But no, but Johnny Somali, can I?
Shut up, you low testosterone. You're the only one on the floor. It's not. You just aren't getting it. Someone needs to beat in. All that jiu-jitsu shit. Well, keep up with your little jiu-jitsu because you want to go hump men, and that's what this is all about. You humping your Connecticut carpet. That's what this is. Now, Johnny Somalia,
Connecticut carpet.
we're going to go to the advocacy of free speech. And what this really comes down to is you hit the head kind of subconsciously with your racist dog whistle of because you wanted to say the N-word and say that black people are violent. So I think that's what this really is about. And what it's really about, too, is the little dog whistle of the envy that you have because the
You
Asian,
talk
the
about a
Korean,
lot of dick for someone supposed to
the
be straight.
Koreans have
I can't believe that one dude, he sounds like the nerd. He's like, oh, come to my jiu-jitsu gym, like Henzo Gracie or something. Like, damn, like no one cares. And like I boxed like myself, like I had some matches, and like I'm not fucking like out here like flexing like that. Like, oh, could come out here.
He's envy. And I think that hit dog is coming out in your low T voice that when you're humping your brother up and down his leg, what's really going on in that jiu-jitsu class is nothing.
I know you can't read, but his name's not Somalia, it's Somali. Somalia is a country. His name's Johnny Somali. I know you're a dumb. Reb, I just want to.
This is white splaining. Johnny, can you
No,
please
it's
tell
not
him?
white
White
This is white
splaining.
splaining. This is white splaining. Johnny Somali, is it true that you've also gone by Jonathan Somalian?
Yes, sir.
Jonathan
And that's not offensive,
Somalian.
is it?
No.
See, this is what white splaining gets you, right? Yeah. Now he's going to white splain and tell you how it's
Uh-oh.
offensive. Go ahead, tell Johnny Somalian how that's offensive.
No,
Man,
I don't know.
can,
I'm
yo,
going to tell you
can,
that his name
can
I'm
somebody
reading
get
it
this
is
dude a ticket
Somali.
to
That's what
Korea,
I'm
man?
reading right here.
Get him
That's
some,
why I
yo,
said
get him
that.
some Korean bitches,
But
bro. 'cause
Johnny,
he out
Somali,
here.
I want to ask
I'm
you an
pretty
actual
sure he's trying to
question
get
for
some
real. Can
Korean
I ask him a
points.
question or no?
He's
I
gonna buy
know,
you a
but
ticket,
bro,
so you
you've been
gotta go over
controlling the
this
whole
shit.
space, so we gotta
Well,
let some other people
that's
talk.
Johnny. But don't you agree it's good to have at least one person dissenting, or else it kind of gets boring?
You're not dissenting, bro. You're
He's not
crying.
dissenting. He's
You're
controlling.
crying, man.
This guy's like ruining the interview. They should really take him off. That would be a really good idea.
Your vocal physiognomy
projecting.
sucks.
You're projecting
Your
right
vocal physiognomy sucks.
Okay, well, no one
What's the
cares.
opinion? Stop
Bro,
hugging
you
the
sound
space,
like
bro.
a griping woman,
Stop hugging the
bro.
space,
It's
I have a legit question
crazy.
for him. What the
We're trying to free. We're trying to.
Sorry, we'll go back to you. We got dropped. We got two people want to come up. Should we drop this low T? You need to
Yeah.
go listen. I
Okay.
think you need to listen.
Yeah, you can come back up in a minute.
Yeah, they should take him off.
Mr. Opinions. But for now, we do have new speaker requests, and I do want to move the conversation forward. Let's go to 6X. Go
Thank
ahead,
God.
6X.
Oh, appreciate it, bro. Double mute. Yeah, bro. There's a lot of hugging in the space, man. Go. But no, I just wanted to come and speak, to this Johnny Somali guy. I've been seeing his videos and whatnot.
Are you Somali?
Hold on. I'm speaking to you. Please, bro. Don't interrupt me. Speak to, at least the co-host and the host. We don't, I don't want to go back and forth. So basically, I just want to say, I've been seeing your videos, bro. There's an interesting video that I've seen.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna let the video play. I'm gonna use the
I'll put it on
bathroom.
the
Be right
next,
back. Yeah.
the Jumbotron, you admitting you're Ethiopian. So why is it that you want to tarnish the name of Somalis and come with this basically, this hate talk against Japanese and all these sorts of people? You basically just trying to tarnish the Somali name when you admittedly say that your dad is Ethiopian. So what is it? Are you Ethiopian, laughing as a Somali, or what is it, bro? Go ahead.
Look, that clip is cut out of context. I am half Somali and half Ethiopian, and if you really want me to do a DNA test, we can. The whole Somali community that is angry about it, we can do a GoFundMe, and if they want to pay for the DNA test, I'll do a DNA test. You will see that I'm half Somali. I don't know why this is. I've been talking about this shit for too long. Even that clip you're showing me is almost 2 years old.
Okay,
Can we
but
throw in
you
a
should-
DNA test for Merciless? Thunderbird, can we get a free DNA test?
But you said your dad is Ethiopian though, right?
Listen,
Is that true?
oh my God, I already know the argument you're gonna make. You're trying
No,
to
I'm
say
just saying.
that like
No. I'm being straight up, bro. I'm not
I
coming
know,
in.
but you're gonna say the
You can
Somali
have go forth. Go ahead.
patrilineage. I've heard this 20 times. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You're gonna say the Somali blood only goes through the father, and if the father's not Somali, you're not Somali. I know exactly what you're gonna say, but I follow. It's 2025. I follow white science. If you have one parent that's
So is your
Chinese,
mom Somali? Is your mom Somali?
look, if you have one parent that's
He's gonna follow white science. What the fuck? What is that?
Chinese and one parent that's Mexican, you're half
No,
Chinese.
you're
half
not.
Mexican.
What
You're
the
not.
hell,
Answer my
man? That's
question, bro.
outrageous.
Is your mom Somali?
Don't worry about what race my mom is.
Bro, stop laughing. You're Ethiopian, Johnny English. You're Ethiopian guy. You're Oromo. Stop making us look bad, bro. I'm
What would I
Somali
gain
now.
from destroying the
Ooh.
Somali community? What would I gain? Blame the white
Listen,
supremacists. The
from
white
your own
supremacists are
mouth.
the ones
No,
destroying the Somali
no.
name, not
Don't
me.
blame white people. Look, don't blame white people. White people got nothing to do with this. Black America's got nothing to do with this. It's you, bro. You're coming
No,
out. You're saying,
white supremacist racists that are spreading fake news about me. That's what it is.
but from your
Don't
own
be.
mouth. From your own mouth, you said
Whoops.
you're Ethiopian. So why
This
would
guy's
you
got a
come out?
weird Korean
That
accent.
whole clip is cut in half. Like it's literally cut.
He's got a weird Korean accent. I've never heard a Korean accent like this before, sir.
Bro, we don't. I don't do cucking, bro. I know you guys like the cucking.
No, this is Teva Babel. I know an East African when I hear one. This is a Horner, And they do this every time. They say, well, Johnny says that he uses the white man science, genetics, right? You can do ancestry. So, just because, look, he's half Somali. And he's given you guys more clout than anything that's ever been. I mean, what did you have before that? Captain Phillips? Black Hawk Down?
Dr. Davinsky, I saw your space from one of my friends, bro. What's it, Dr. Irvin? So I decided, let me jump on, yeah, and speak to this guy. But what I want to say is, look, yeah, when it comes to hate and whatnot, yeah, and pushing hate, you should be pushing what your family is. He's the Ethiopian. He's the Ethiopian.
It's a Muslim pretending to be a
Osman,
humanist.
let me talk.
Shut up, you stupid mozzie.
Oh my god.
Let me talk, man. Get your dick off his mouth. Let me talk. So, Somali, Johnny, whatever your name is, if you're Ethiopian, bro, you're gonna get more clicks with writing the name Somali. That's what you want. You want clicks. So next time, just put Ethiopian. That's what you are. Because I'm telling you right now, bro, Somalis are not very pleased with you. They're gonna
Ooh.
up sideways,
Yeah,
left,
they're
right.
definitely not happy
telling
about
you,
him for
And that's
sure.
why
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to the UK. I'm not gonna go to the shithole
Don't
Minneapolis.
come to
I'm
the
gonna
UK.
avoid.
100%. You're gonna
I will
get your
never,
bones broken.
bro.
That's
UK
probably a
is a
good
shithole
idea.
anyway. Nobody
You're
wants to
gonna
go
get
to
your
the
bones
UK.
broken. I'm telling you right now, bro. Just keep change your name to
Suicide.
Yeah, that he's got a big target on his back, like around the entire world. Like his shit's like really popular. There's a very large group of people that are quite upset.
All
Right.
disavow violence. Let's
Yeah.
go to
This goes to show how violent these people are too. And do you know, so think about this also. The Somalis have been tormenting the Swedes. They went to Malmo. Shout out to Johnny for moving to Scottsdale, Arizona. And he didn't form some Somali enclave where the largest Swedish population. It's in Minnesota, right? And that's where the Somalis moved. So they went to Sweden, they went to Minnesota. It's like they're just tormenting these poor Swedes. And yeah, I mean, this is very bad. Let's go to Thunderbird.
I'm gonna leave, Davinsky. I appreciate the space, bro. But I just want to say one more thing. Somalis as a whole, we don't support Israel. We never will. So you're definitely not Somali, my bro. And yes,
What's
if you
wrong
come to
with
the
being
UK,
Somali and supporting Israel? What's
if you
wrong with
come
that?
to the UK, you're gonna get your bones broken. I'm gonna tell you that for
Do
sure.
you understand when I was walking in Tel Aviv, they treated me
You're
like a
gonna get
king when I
fucked
was
up. Yeah.
listen.
And by the way, the
You're
guy that
following
said the
too much
N word,
propaganda.
is okay, and you can say it to black people. Say it to a black person. I guarantee you're gonna get your jaw broken. Yeah.
If you're
Thank you very much.
If you guys are watching the stream, you guys like what we're watching, having a pretty chill time, make sure you guys follow my Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube.
Somalian, why are you in England? I have a British
Motherfucker.
passport too, but
You don't
I
sound
sit here
British. You don't sound
Yeah,
British.
you don't sound
British people
Somali
don't
or
talk like
Korean.
that.
Hold on a second. Is he
British
Korean
people
or
don't talk like
Somalian
that.
or from the UK?
Listen, I'm not gonna go back and forth on the internet with some losers. I just come to address this guy.
He's one of
Appreciate the
the
space,
Somalis from the
Davinsky.
UK.
Salute to you, man.
No worries. Take care. Okay,
Your
let's
mom's a
go
slag.
to Thunderbird. Go ahead, just keep recycling them, and I think we should be able to get maybe Tommy Sotomayor, Myron Gaines, a Tozy, Legal Mindset. These kind. I don't know if Johnny wants Legal Mindset in here. Probably not.
I don't scared to debate me or ISIS.
Get him in there.
Scared to
Get
talk
him
to
in
any of
there.
us because he knows we'll expose his.
Get him in there,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I read
Bro, he
That'll
was
be
almost
such
crying. Bro,
content.
he was almost crying because shout out Lolly Mindset on Twitter. That's my favorite account. Somebody brought up this account, Lolly Mindset, on his
What
stream,
the hell?
and started stuttering and like he was about to cry. Like this, he's really a pussy.
Yeah, and it seems like he's got a bit of a shady past.
I would like to see more of the background of Legal Mindset. Like, I hear all this talk about Johnny. I want to hear more into the background of Legal Mindset.
With his Kiwi farms. So, yes, it seems bad for him. All right. Also, if you want to just post a question or a comment, do that in the Purple Pill, and I'll read it out if you don't want to come up and speak. But yeah, let's go back to Thunderbird, but make your point to Johnny or like surrounding Johnny Thunderbird.
He's been drinking. But he's right about the free speech. Thunderbird. put that bottle down, maybe get some rice sake. I think one comment, I'm just going through the comments in Ness. One thing I think that we're not bringing up is these YouTubers, these Koreans, they weren't doing it out of this sense of nationalistic pride. They were doing it because they wanted to get clout. Weren't they getting donations? I mean, this is essentially like a
Yes,
hitman
they were doing it
behind.
all for clout,
Yeah.
subscribers, and donations.
True, they were
They
getting
were virtue
donations.
signaling.
Here who know that's not true, just let it fly, bro. Let it fly.
Bro, listen, it's not. I'm the one here on the ground. Let me tell you this.
No,
Even the
Filipino.
Koreans,
He's Filipino.
listen,
Yeah, it turned out
even
he's
the
Filipino.
Koreans, even the Koreans in Korea don't even like those vigilantes who are chasing me anymore. Have you noticed
They
that
were
they listen, these vigilantes have stopped. You want to know why? Because they lost incentive. The Korean people aren't no more. As soon as they saw me, like after we fought, I shook hands and hugged the YouTubers and all that shit. They got so angry. The Koreans were like, so you guys were just following this guy around for donations, attacking him. You guys are not doing it out of pride for the nation. You guys are doing it for
True.
subscribers and money. They got exposed badly.
Damn.
As soon as it was not
if you
fruitful for
can't
them, they
show the
stopped.
video of that actually happening, it did happen, bro.
That's true.
There's
That's pretty crazy.
multiple, and I could not only
Because bro, the
Korea,
videos
but
are on the
Koreans in
Korean
fucking
side of
America. And
YouTube.
Korea's supporting what they did, man. You are in protective custody, protective grounds.
Oh, one sec. I got this on the 4732.
No, like no court, no trumped up this, no like.
Like you're snorkeling or something. Let's go.
I want to see what's up with this legal mindset Kiwi Farms. Nick Rakita Law. What's up with this? Nicholas Robert Riccietta. Internet shock jock. Not allowed to practice. Abortionist lawyer swinger. Uh-oh. The couple's canceling him. Whoa.
That said, the Kiwis have actually come through and produced documents. They produced a search warrant. They produced this extra document we reviewed today. In addition to that, they're raising money for the body cam footage. In addition to that, Josh and his attorney are petitioning for the Rekieta omnibus hearing. Josh's attorney, professional, going to apply for this being televised, and he wanted affidavits from lawyers. I
have no idea what happened.
Go to Rivi. Yeah, it's like sounds like you're snorkeling, and you could tell as soon as we brought up Korea, he's really offended and he's going hard for the Asians. So Johnny, I don't think you know, but Merciless actually we found out he's actually he's I believe he's Filipino. He's Asian.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. They think that they find some shit about me, but they failed.
We called you a reservation. No one knows you. Again.
What we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is basically FBA Kanging. Okay, this is the same, nonsense with like a George Floyd statue being desecrated, right? You get mad on one hand, and then these people, these Koreans, they get upset about what Black Americans do. You hear all this vitriol about Black Americans and how ignorant we are, and we hang over statues. And one could say, well, George Floyd was a criminal, and that very well may be true. But this was a Korean prostitute, ladies, and when you dig deep in the Japanese imperialist use of these quote unquote masseuses, they willingly did that. They willingly had these Japanese soldiers. You look it up, that's what happened. So to build a statue so twerking on a statue, this is just kanging. This is FBA, what they would call chimping out, right? The Koreans are not above chimping out. The Asian community is not above chimping out. And what you'll see from time to time is from any group, you'll see the chimp out. You'll see the quintessential chimp out. They do it all the time. They point fingers and then do the same thing. They like to throw stones at glass houses. So, for me, what Johnny Somali did was, satire. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's new. It's not something that, it really is not new. It's something that's been done over and over. You have your Ice Poseidon, you're slightly homeless. You have these guys that go into these other countries or even here in America and do things, and they get pats on the wrist. It's funny to me. No one's screaming and yelling about what Ice Poseidon has done or what any of these IRL streamers do, where they go in public spaces with speakers and they know what their people in the chat are going to put on the speaker. And a lot of this stuff is violent. It's talking about killing people and blowing shit up. If I went and did that with a speaker and I went downtown and it was Allah Akbar, there's a bomb somewhere underneath someone's seat, I would go to prison. Yeah, I would go to
Damn.
prison for a very long time. But when these individuals do it, it's funny. It's ha ha he he. We're going to make 1 million views. It's content. This is silly.
But Baby, let me ask you a question. You are a U.S. soldier. How do you feel about a U.S. ally treating an American citizen over speech? We're supposed to have the same ideals. So this is essentially, I think James put the nail on the head. This is akin to, yeah, we don't like it. We might not like it, but we still have to protect all speech. So as a U.S. veteran, how do you feel that our ally is kind of going against the ideals and forming these hate mobs? And the violence, I think the violence is really troubling too, but just the free speech aspect, how does that make you feel? Because it's something, this is American, it just it really bothers me that someone is going to get arrested and assaulted over something being offensive, because like I said, we might not like what Johnny did, but he does have a right to do it as an American citizen. And I thought
Only in America.
The United States Marine Corps works with the ROKMC, which is Republic of Korea's Marine Corps. Ezekiel, I didn't go to Korea. Ezekiel probably knows more about that. We also have, guys that come over and work with the Navy SEALs of the, South Korean Navy. This makes these guys look soft, right? And I'm going to be a little brash, if I will. People yelling stuff like that, it offends people, but really, what is it doing? No one died. I have to keep saying that. I go to FBA spaces. They love to hang about the word. No one died. No one got killed. Twerking, it's a statue. Did you twerk on a woman? No. He spilled some noodles in some bitch's shop. Stop lying. Stop being babies. You can get upset. Okay. That doesn't hurt me. This is the internet. Even if I was doing some IRL, I'm too old for that shit, but even if I was doing some IRL stuff, or let's say that I'm the victim in this matter, or I owned a shop, some guy spills some noodles, I would call the cops and just leave it at that. Or, bare minimum, if the person is, they know that they're trying to get content and they cut the camera off, when everything's said and done, it says, hey man, I did it for content. Because we see this all the time. We see staged events, right? We see these videos where these guys stage shit.
Yeah, we
They
do
pay
see
the guy in advance
stage
to
stuff
do
all the time.
obnoxious bullshit, and the guy pretends like he's upset, and then
On the morning of January 2nd, 1978, a woman in California received a call asking for someone named Ray. She didn't know anyone by that name, so she simply told the caller they had the wrong number and hung up. Back then, callers had to manually enter each digit of the number they wanted to call in a rotary phone, and accidentally entering the wrong number was a common mistake. So she didn't think much of this and moved on with her day. However, things took a horrifying turn that evening when she received another call from the same person, and what she heard on the other end of this audio call was extremely disturbing.
Hello? Hello?
Whoa.
The man
So
who
this
was
was to
politely asking to
911.
speak with someone named Ray earlier was now threatening to end her life. What's worse is that this audio call wasn't a baseless threat or a troll. The person calling was later found out to be the Golden State Killer, one of the most infamous serial killers in US history.
Oh
He
my
terrorized
gosh.
California for over a decade, from 1974 to 1986, and operated across multiple counties, including Sacramento, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Orange County. What made him more terrifying than most other serial killers was just how precise and thorough he was. Instead of committing the crime whenever he got the chance, he would often plan months in advance. He would stalk his victims, learning everything about their daily lives and routines to find the right opportunity. This also included surveying the area around their home to plan escape routes. Sometimes he would break into his victims' homes beforehand to unlock windows,
Damn.
unload guns, and plant the gear he was later going to use for the crime. He would also call his future victims many times leading up to the crime and threaten them, similar to the call you heard earlier.
Oh my god.
This was all a
dude.
part of his act, with these
That's
calls
super
serving as a way for him
scary.
to mentally torment his victims ahead of time. When he eventually broke into their home for the last time, he would often tie them up and make himself at home, even cooking in their kitchen on occasion. Put simply, he was extremely confident in his planning, and unfortunately it worked. By the end of 1986, he had broken into different homes over 120 times, and in
Oh
more
my
than 64
God.
victims, 3 of which were children. However, despite the authorities having tons of evidence against him, like fingerprints, footprints,
sucks 3 of them
masks,
were
multiple
children.
rings, and many different sketches from witnesses, nothing led to a name. He would even
They
call
never
and
caught
taunt the
him.
police and families of his victims, daring them to catch him. But despite all this, the case remained cold for over 40 years. That is until the late 2010s, when a new kind of
Ooh.
detective work changed everything. You see, investigators already had plenty of DNA evidence from the killer. However, his DNA didn't match the limited samples they had in their database. But in 2016, a very distant relative of the Golden State Killer took a DNA ancestry test through one of the companies like 23andMe. The
Oh,
DNA data
shit.
from this company was aggregated by a company called GED Match. And the FBI then used this extensive database to
Damn,
see if
that's
any of the
crazy,
samples
dude.
matched with the DNA evidence they had. While they didn't find the killer, they did find a match with one of his very distant relatives. This allowed them to go through the whole family tree with over 1,000 members and eventually find the person they were looking for. After 40 long years, the identity of the man behind this creepy call was finally made public.
Oh
On
my
April
God.
24, 2018, authorities arrested then 73-year-old Joseph James D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer.
Oh my god, they found him. Damn.
He was a Vietnam War veteran and an ex-police officer from the
Holy
Santa Barbara
crap,
County Sheriff's
after
Office.
all the time.
Investigation of his past also revealed a chilling instance from July 1979 when he was arrested for shoplifting a hammer and dog repellent. In hindsight, it's obvious that he was going to use both of these items for one of his crimes. And the reason he tried to steal them instead of paying was because he didn't want the sale tied back to his name in any way. In July of 2020, Joseph pled guilty to 13 counts of murder and 13 counts of kidnapping in a plea bargain to avoid the death penalty. He was given 13 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole and is now serving his time at a California state prison. The recorded audio
my
calls he
God.
made to his soon-to-be victims have gone down as some of the most disturbing pieces of audio ever recorded.
What a scary dude.
On the 1st of December 2017, Reddit user Drudagon17 made a Reddit post hoping to find an explanation for the terrifying screams he heard while on vacation. What's causing these screams? So, I'm not really sure what this is. I've had a lot of people tell me different things, but no one really knows for sure. Maybe someone here could help me shed some light. Alongside this, he linked to a recording of what sounded like a person screaming at the top of their lungs.
Holy shit. Whoa. Dude, that sounds like someone's like in trouble, man. Holy shit.
The OP then went into detail describing the circumstances surrounding these disturbing noises, reading, "Earlier in the year, I went on a long road trip across the states, mainly visiting the national parks and a few cities along the way. Towards the end of the trip, we found ourselves staying in the small town of West Yellowstone. This appeared to be an ideal base whilst we explored Yellowstone National Park. We booked into a pretty creepy but cheap motel just off the main street for a couple of nights. Me and my fiance had one room, my parents another. On the first morning there, we planned to get up early, catch the sunrise, and hopefully spot some of the local wildlife. So our alarms were set for 5 a.m. At about 4:45 a.m., I was woken by loud banging on the door, followed by crying and shouting.
Holy
I
shit.
instantly jumped out of my bed thinking the worst had happened. I opened the door to my mom.
Oh, so this is the person that they fucking had the video. This is their post.
In a state of panic, saying, "There's someone screaming, a woman screaming." There, clear as day, I could hear a woman screaming. It sounded as though it was within 100 feet of us. Mom claimed it had been happening for the last 30 minutes. We wanted to call the police, but had no phone signal, no phones in the rooms, and we were the only people about. This,
Oh my
on its
God.
own, is pretty terrifying. But what made this encounter even more unnerving was what happened next, with the OP and his family having a very bizarre interaction with local law enforcement, stating, "Then, after I'd been hearing the scream for about half an hour, so roughly an hour since it started, a police officer seemed to appear out of nowhere. He started to ask questions about what we were doing and why we were up. We thought he'd come about the scream, so we quickly told him everything. He then heard the scream and sped off towards town.
What?
The screaming got less frequent and eventually stopped, so we decided to go about our day. We saw all the lovely sights of Yellowstone and even showed several park rangers the video to see if it's an animal."
That's super suspect how the cop just like drove away. What do you think about that, chat? That's just crazy.
They all said they've not heard anything like it before. So when we got back into town that evening, we stopped into the sheriff's office to try and get some information. This was met with a lot of hostility from both the lady at reception, who eventually closed the shutter in our face, and the same officer we had seen that morning. They both said exactly the same thing. It almost sounded like a script. "Sorry, ma'am, but that was an intoxicated woman yelling for her boyfriend."
That's
I
really
don't quite
creepy.
understand how they can put that down to someone shouting at their boyfriend. I get people get really wasted, but not to the point where you just scream and never say any words.
Yeah, that's not how you yell for your boyfriend. Yeah, I don't think that's very normal.
So, what was the source of the disturbing screaming Dredagon heard that night? The most prevalent theory I've come across is that these noises were coming from an animal, more specifically a mountain lion. This makes a lot of sense since mountain lions are native to the Yellowstone wilderness. More importantly, their screams are eerily similar to what the OP heard during his stay in that area. That said, it's still possible that the police officers were telling the truth and that these screams were coming from an intoxicated woman. The pitch of the second scream in the OP's recording in particular is a lot more human-like than something coming from an animal.
Holy shit. That sounds like someone being fucking murdered, dude. Or bad things. Definitely being physically assaulted.
One person on YouTube even tried to explain this uncanny difference, stating that the first round of screaming sounds like it's coming from a mountain lion, and the second time sounds like a person screaming back at the animal. Maybe they were just annoyed and were trying to scare away the animal or get it to shut up. While this could have been the case, most of the screaming noises OP heard were likely coming from a mountain lion, since according to his post, he didn't hear any cries for help or other words in these noises. Even if it were coming from a highly intoxicated woman, it's safe to assume that she would say something aside from just yelling at the top of her lungs. But if that's true, why did two different police officers tell the same lie? Some people speculated that they did so just to avoid scaring off tourists, or that they were just pulling a prank. But from what I've seen, Dredagon was most likely lying about this part of his story. It's entirely possible that after learning about the surprisingly normal origin of these creepy noises, the OP used this encounter to craft a disturbing story they could post on Reddit. especially since at one point during his original post, he mentions showing the recording to multiple park rangers. Now, even if these rangers weren't 100% positive, they
way.
would still make the obvious connection
Park rangers are like workers, like they work for the government.
with the similar animal noise that's common in that region. Dronigan also mentioned looking it up on YouTube and not finding any videos that could explain the disturbing screams. Even though when searching "screaming in Yellowstone" on YouTube, one of the first results is a 9-year-old video showcasing a mountain lion scream.
That does not sound like a it did not sound like a mountain lion scream.
That being said, it's been over 7 years since the original post.
I don't know, what do you think, Chad? I did not think it sounded like a mountain lion scream.
And Dronigan
That's my
hasn't
opinion,
posted
so
any updates
if
since.
you
So
got an
whether this was a
opinion you wanna
mountain
drop,
lion
make
or
sure you
something
guys
else
chat
more
it up.
disturbing, we'll likely never know the truth with 100% certainty. In February 2016, the residents of Forest Grove, Oregon began hearing a strange, high-pitched noise in the area.
What the fuck is that? It's annoying as hell. Holy
This
shit.
eerie noise was limited to the city of Forest Grove and the wilderness surrounding it. It could only be heard for a few minutes at a time. It would begin blaring randomly throughout the day and often late into the night before going away for a few hours. One of the most disturbing aspects of this noise was how quickly it spread to the entire city. Its tone was deeply uncomfortable, resulting in a lot of people calling the police in distress.
It's happened twice tonight. It's happened about 5 times during the last 7 days, and the neighbor beside me, we can't even hear each other in the backyard. Neither one of us can figure out what's happening.
Throughout that
Oh my
February,
God.
emergency services received over 200 calls from concerned citizens, some even reporting physical symptoms from hearing the noise. But one question was on everyone's mind: where was this screeching noise coming from? One of the first theories that came up was that the noise was coming from a gas leak, something that could possibly be
Ooh,
that loud.
That's really unsafe. I'm gonna get that fixed ASAP.
However, the Northwest Natural Gas Company quickly shut down this idea, stating that if there was a gas leak, they would have become aware of it already. Also, a gas leak sounds more like a jet taking off rather than the screeching sound reported. On top of that, they pointed out that if there was a gas leak big enough to cause this much noise, the smell of the leaking gas would spread throughout the city as well. Another theory that came up was that this was the result of trapped air in sewer lines escaping through a manhole. However, a major flaw in this theory was that if it were true, why did the noise only begin in February of 2016? The fire marshal, on the other
That's
hand,
a good
suggested
point.
the idea that it might be coming from someone's faulty air conditioning system. This is because many dysfunctional systems emit a very high frequency sound, similar to what the residents of Forest Grove were hearing. The truth is, this noise could have been coming from any number of sources, including construction
That was, like,
equipment or a
extremely
broken
loud
emergency
noise, though.
siren. Unfortunately, the sound appeared to be coming from all directions, making it pretty much impossible to find its origin and verify any of these theories.
This was no regular noise like the two neighbors you could hear in the video, like they actually can't even talk to each other.
While everyone was desperately trying to figure things out, the daily noise was becoming more and more unsettling with each passing day. But the eerie noise then suddenly disappeared just as quickly as it had begun. Over 9 years later, and this strange noise is still an unsolved mystery. That said, I believe the most likely theory is also the most boring one, that this whole thing was a prank or hoax by someone with a horn of some kind. You see,
A
after getting
horn?
overwhelmed by the number of calls from Forest
What the
Grove
fuck they
residents,
mean, a
the local
horn?
police station began investigating the phenomenon more seriously. Amid their search, they put out a statement warning any potential pranksters, reading, "While some might find it comical, interesting, and mysterious, it's unlawful if it's being done on purpose. If this is the case, the individual caught will face possible repercussions." A couple days after this statement came out, the noise vanished and hasn't returned since. It's almost as if whoever was behind this realized that the prank was not worth the trouble and stopped. Of course, all this is just a theory on its own. But unless someone comes forward with a confession, I doubt we'll ever learn the truth about the origin of this disturbing noise. On March 2nd, 2013, an anonymous user made an entry on 4chan talking about a creepy radio hijacking they experienced as a kid. The post read, "A creepy, I think, audio file which I've always been curious about. Back in 1994/1995, when I recorded this off of the radio, I told myself I'd never make a copy of the tape, having freaked myself out. But it's been sitting in the back of a desk drawer and in the back of my mind for 16 years now, and now I'm just curious. The weird stuff starts about 16 seconds in. Around 1995, I was about 15. I used to stay up late in my room listening to the radio on a boombox with an integrated tape recorder. I'd dial through the stations, and when I heard something interesting, I'd hit record for a while and then move on. One night, I came across this. I don't think this was the beginning of the broadcast, but I caught a lot of it. Right at the end, an announcer says that the station I was tuned to was WKCR 89.9 New York. There are a bunch of names and dates in there, but I've never run into anything else like this. Alongside this was a link to an audio file that starts off quite normal with a section from a 1993 song by Billy Cobham. It then abruptly transitions into a violin section from a song called Golden Sonata by Henry Purcell. The audio then morphs into a bone-chilling, high-pitched scream of sorts. This alone is extremely creepy, but the audio doesn't stop there. Soon after this high-pitched scream, it morphs into the sound of a woman taking deep breaths. This breathing pattern repeats a few times, ultimately leading into the sound of a woman reading seemingly random names and dates in an almost whisper. This voice keeps repeating the same 9 names and dates over and over again. A little investigation shows that the names and dates are taken from their obituaries. The 2 most notable names among these belong to Frank Oppenheimer, the brother of the creator of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and Barry Joseph Valentino Jr., one of the victims of the Pan Am Flight 103 bombing in 1988. However, from what I've seen, there's no correlation between any of the names besides the fact that they're all dead. After repeating these names for a few minutes, the broadcast goes back to normal with a seemingly routine call sign announcement.
You're tuned to WKCR-FM New York, 89.9 on your dial. Colombian music is running a little late. It will be starting in a few minutes.
Now, when the anonymous user originally posted this on 4chan, it received mixed reactions. Some people were deeply creeped out by it, while others were skeptical and believed the OP made this whole thing up. So, what's the truth? Well, there's evidence supporting both sides of the argument. The thing is, after receiving a few requests, the OP posted the full audio clip on YouTube with a channel named Ravenmouth. Searching it on Google shows that the OP has a Reddit account by the same name.
What the hell?
With this, we can see that a couple of weeks after his 4chan post,